reminding yourself of why you started and being in touch with that vision and realize that you can attain that enables you to get through it when things get really tough, and they will get tough. But what systems do you have in place to get you through that? Have you done the proper planning for that? Because anything that's worth a damn in life is going to come at a price of doing something difficult.
Welcome to the Conscious Investor. Let's get started. Conscious Investor, welcome back to this show. I am so grateful that you are joining me on this mindset episode because it's a together mindset episode, and I am so stoked to have my friend Jay here in the house. Well, not technically, but kind of virtually in the virtual house, recording some amazing information for you that's just going to help elevate your life. Before we do that, I just want to let you know, because I keep forgetting to let you know. And if I don't communicate to you, then you're not going to know. But I have a goal. I have a very ambitious goal that my companies, 3 Keys Investments and the Conscious Investor Coaching, would serve and support 50 people over the next year. And our goal is to help people. It might be financially helping people invest in apartments, or it might be, wow, I want support through your high performance coaching and the coaching community that you have. Like, we have created a really powerful coaching community, and it's there to serve you and support you. And any investment you make in yourself will affect your finances, and any financial investment you make, well, it's only going to help you personally if you invest it in personal development, because guess what? Money is just going to exaggerate and enhance what is already within you, for better or for worse. So without ado, wait, I should tell you where to go. If you're interested in learning more about that passive investing or in high performance coaching, then please make sure that you schedule a time with me. Go to Julie Holly. Let's go to julieholly.com. Make it easy, and you just scroll down to the bottom to connect. All right. Star of the show is in here, and we have a great conversation ready for you. Jay doesn't even know it, but I know it. So Jay, I just want to thank you in advance because we've already spoken a few times, and I'm like, this is going to be magic.
This is exciting. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. You came on my podcast recently, had a great time, and so I'm excited for another episode of the Jay and Julie show.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm a terrible host. I have it written down here even. Make sure you go and check out Jay's podcast. It is called H.A.R.D Things. And you're listening to this mindset episode right now because you're interested in that transformation and in improving yourself and seeing the world in a different way. And Jay brings on guests that are just insightful and will support you in doing that. Okay. So make sure, and he will help. I mean, like his episodes, just go check out H.A.R.D Things because you're going to love that. And then remember, you always want to leave an honest rating and review, because that's kind of like your calling card, if you will. Like, oh, I've been here and this is what I thought of it. Okay. We like to know that we're serving and supporting him. All right, Jay. I'm super excited. Maybe some people should know a little, like the conscious investor, maybe should know a little bit about your background, you think, before we jump in, or do you want to just jump in?
Yeah, I guess so. I've got, there's so much that I do, but I guess I'll try to keep it short. I'm active duty Army veteran of 27 years. I grew up, I claim Missouri as home. I'm currently at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. So it's right about 2 hours west of St. Louis. I am a father of triplet teenage daughters. Recently
talk about H.A.R.D things right there.
Yeah. You want to talk about my greatest leadership challenge is trying to get a couple of teenagers to make their beds in the morning. So I talk about that a lot. The challenge of influence. I'm an endurance athlete. I dabble in a lot of different things. I like running, cycling, adventure racing. I like doing things that challenge my mind and my body. And I just want to inspire other people to live a better life. And I am the founder of Do Hard Things Nation and Apparel. So it's an apparel brand where we do some coaching and just inspire people. We do events. And I'm also a coach with the Lions Guide, which is an online academy for business owners and leaders. I'm the high performance development director. And I'm also an adjunct professor with a couple of universities. And I'm really excited about one university in particular. It's the University of Research and Development out of New Zealand. And I'm actually flying out next week to go deliver some training in New Zealand with veterans. And it's amazing. And I'm doing high performance coaching, leadership coaching with them. So I got a few irons in the fire, but those are the different things that I'm doing. And yeah, so try to keep it short.
I think you need to do a few more things. I mean, that just doesn't seem like your productivity seems really low and your level of necessity seems enough. Particularly low. I don't know. Where's your clarity at here? I mean,
I'm actually trying to slow things down because I've been doing so many things. You know, I'm in that as I transition from the military, I have learned to find clarity through action. Now, about maybe 10, 15 years ago, I thought that you found clarity by sitting on your couch. It would just fall into your lap as you ponder life, right? But what I've learned is you got to take action. And when I knew that I was retiring, like, okay, I'm in this internship right now. They call it the CSP, the Career Skills Program. And I've been working on, the Do Hard Things Nation for a couple of years, but I really wanted to, like, what can I do with my coaching practice and how can I get it out there? Who do I want to serve? And so I've been trying a lot of different things. I've been involved in a few mastermind groups and I got to a point where, like, I think in the early entrepreneurial stages, you get kind of like, man, there's just so many things. Now I'm at a point, like, I've gotten clarity. Like, I like that thing. I like that thing. I'm going to take these things off the plate so I can focus a little bit more. And that's where I'm currently at. So
gosh,
too many things.
That's so powerful though, because so often people and okay, wait. So I want to double down and say, I agree with you completely on that. Taking action, that is where we find clarity, because we get the feedback that we need from life, and life kind of helps guide and direct us a little bit further because we're getting the feedback. And if we're just sitting on our laurels, throwing back a beer or something, we're just going to have the same. Yeah. And so in order to have different, we have to create that movement.
And we wouldn't be here today had I not got involved with a mastermind, connected with one of your coaches that said, hey, you got to go meet Julie, so I could pinpoint exactly what action led me to being here today, which is awesome. And then getting to know you, right? I would not have had this opportunity to go to New Zealand next week had I not had my podcast and connected with other people doing the work that I've been doing. So it's lent itself to a lot of opportunities through action. And I just think it's powerful. Like, if you want to find clarity, take action. It might be messy. It's going to take a little bit of courage, but do the hard thing, and the path will reveal itself to you.
Okay. Let's talk. I love this. And following this same rabbit hole thought right here, I was thinking about how life tests us and that it seems so hard in the moment. And that we could go with lots of analogies here. We could do the diamond, diamond's not created unless it has so much pressure on it and it's hot and miserable, right? Or we could go to the butterfly example, and the butterfly can't, become a butterfly unless it struggles out of the cocoon, right? So life is like that. Life gets messy and it puts this pressure on us. But how do you find the strength to do hard things? You're in the middle of the pressure because it's the middle. And you and I were talking about 75 hard off air, and you were talking about phase 2 is the challenging one. And I think anything in the middle is oftentimes the most challenging of anything because you're in the middle. And so how do you do that hard thing? How do you persist? How do you sustain when you're in the middle?
I mean, a lot of things we talk about are not like, when I think about personal development, it's a lot of commonsensical things, right? But it's also things that are easy to do, things that are easy not to do. It's remembering your why, right? Remembering why you started in the first place. There was a moment like I wanted to do 75 for a specific reason, but a lot of people won't finish the program because they get halfway through it and they get, oh, this is really getting kind of hard. I'm kind of bored with it. That looks cool. I want to go get a Peloton and maybe I'll go try this other program and we'll just put this aside. It's remembering why you started and staying connected with that and your greater vision of who you want to become. And I think that's the game changer for people that are really performing at the highest level. I think of love them or hate them, Elon Musk, right? We're going to put people on Mars. We don't even have the technology to do that, but this guy is full steam ahead, with this incredible, almost like it's just impossible mission, and it drives him. And look at what even as the process is messy, look at all the things that have been created in that path already. I look at the Twitter acquisition as a lot of people are like watching it play by play, as in, oh, he's messing this up. Twitter's dead. Blah, blah, blah. That guy has got like 10 moves ahead of everyone else. There's a bigger reason that he probably purchased Twitter, maybe for the computer power that's needed for his other businesses. I don't know. I just know that the guy is like 10 steps ahead. And so when I think about people that are making the greatest impact and truly high performing, like their vision is bigger and they're in tune with that vision. And something like a challenge like 75 H.A.R.D, if you have it, like you have a vision of who you want to become, Julie. So you embarked on this challenge and you're like knee deep in it, but reminding yourself of why you started and being in touch with that vision and realize that you can attain that enables you to get through it when things get really tough, and they will get tough. But what systems do you have in place to get you through that? Have you done the proper planning for that? Do you have the right accountability partners for that? Because anything that's worth a damn in life is going to come at a price of doing something difficult. And I think the people that make it versus those that don't are more resilient, and they have the resources, and they're more in touch with their purpose and their why than people that don't.
So how do you cultivate that? You have a conscious investor listening right now who is just like, golly, you guys are superhuman. I mean, you guys do all these crazy things. Julia's out in the middle of the wilderness with grizzly bears, and you're out, serving our country and doing all these ultra runs and all this stuff. Like, so sometimes people will say like, okay, you guys are inspirational, but I can't see myself in this storyline, and I want it, but I can't see it. And I don't know how to withstand this pressure. How do I even develop the little seed for this?
Yeah. Well, I think part of that equation is I'm doing the comparison trap, right? They have this, I'm not that, I'm not worthy enough. And when you start that comparison bit in itself, like you're already, I don't know, you're putting yourself down, and you're already, it doesn't bode well. We're all on different journeys. We're all on a different path of journey. So when you start that comparison, that is a pathway to failure. I think that if you want, like, there's a reason that you got into investing in the first place, and there's some challenges along that. There's a learning curve that takes place. And I think that it's incredibly important. My breakthroughs have come from coaching and mentorship, getting a part of another tribe of community, finding someone that's doing what inspires me. So look at someone that is, you have a specific goal, like you want so many investment properties. Find someone that has walked that path and maybe go interview them and talk to them and ask them, because on the outset, it probably looks like they're wildly successful, and they probably are, but the path to get there, they had to walk a similar path. And I know that's one of the things that Faisal, he's your coach and friend, and it's one of the things that he reminded me during my journey is that maybe this path it's the necessary path that you have to walk to get to where you want to go. And a book that really inspires me, and we've talked about this because you have a book club, is A Man's Search for Meaning. And when I read that book, and it's about Viktor Frankl, who survived like the worst atrocities of World War II. He was a psychologist, psychiatrist. He worked somewhere in that field. And he was a Jew in Poland and survived like numerous death camps. And during his time there, he studied like, why do some people give up? Why some people are willing to fight through all this horrendous situation? And the one major epiphany is that there is suffering in life. And we all have challenges. Every single person on this planet has challenges, and that comes with doubt, and that comes with things to overcome. And having that realization really helped me understand that that's just part of the human experiences. And every challenge that I've overcome has come with like lessons learned. things that I don't want to do again. Maybe I can do something better the next time. And I've just grown from that, and I can use that to help coach and guide other people. And so my mantra, do hard things, came from a very early age of wanting to, I had a broken home, physical and mental abuse. And I had a cross country coach that mentored me. He reached out. I ran a paper route. I was probably one of the last paper boys that would ride his bicycle and throw newspapers.
That's so cool.
And I did that 6 days a week. And I did this really as a way to get out of my house because it was toxic. Maybe get some money so I could buy some school clothes, some snacks at school, maybe a video game. And in that process, I got really pretty fit. Clarksville, Missouri has this huge hill. It's like the highest point in the Mississippi. I rode my bike up this hill every day, 6 days a week, all sorts of weather. But we had a new cross country coach. He was the history teacher, a very small town. I had a class size of 50 people. And he saw something in me, kind of befriended me. I delivered a newspaper and he would kind of talk to me. And the very next year I was going into high school, and he was like, you know what, why don't you come out to the cross country team? And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And he's like, well, we get together and we go run in the field and we race. And this sounds weird, but okay, I'll show up and give it a try. And for the first time in my life, though, I had someone that looked out for me, invited me as part of a team. And, my first couple sessions, I ran, I had my Reebok pumps, I don't know if you remember back in the day.
Oh my gosh,
Reebok
I remember
pumps.
those.
Yeah, that's what I spent. That's what I bought with my paper route money, and my basketball shorts. And we go out there and we run. There were some really fast runners on the team, and I was pretty fast with my big shoes and my basketball shorts. And we had a really fast team. And for the first time, I felt like I was part of a team. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. I want to try. So I got the right shoes, got some running shoes, and just kept showing up. And like I said, for the first time in my life, I felt like I was part of a team. And running cross country is hard. Running in general, if you're running competitively, is incredibly difficult. It's mind over matter and it's painful. And that's where I kind of got the mantra of doing hard things. I found that was an escape from my personal, my home life that was a mess. And it also raised necessity for me to keep my grades up. And it was like the pathway to get out of my childhood and maybe into the military. I wanted to be a police officer, but I couldn't join the academy until I was 21. So I kind of doubled down on that. And that mantra of doing hard things kind of stuck with me during tough races. When I go home and have a bad day with my family, I just got to get through this, just got to get through this day, get back to school tomorrow and go run, and it just kind of stuck with me, and it lent itself to my military career. And there's a lot of challenges in the military. And that mantra of, do the hard thing, it opened up a lot of doorways of success for me throughout my career, and it's lent itself nice. And I found that by putting myself in the discomfort and doing the more difficult things, usually more often than not, good things would come from that. So that was a long-winded answer to your question that I forgot. So I apologize.
No, but I love it. And there was something and I wrote this down. Are you kidding me? I'm just like, keep it coming because this is gold. One of the things that you said earlier was, we have to continually take action, right? We can't the fastest way for us to figure things out is to take action, and we get that feedback. But you actually, intentionally or not, you were doing that. You even said with the cross country team, I kept showing up. I just kept showing up. Right. Yeah. And so it's interesting how sometimes when we look back to our past, we can see little bits of, we all have a gift, different strengths in our mindset or different moments along our, timeline where it's revealed to us or we're practicing something without even knowing it. So it's pretty cool to be like, wow, you just kept showing up. You were taking action. You were creating forward momentum. You saw something and went for it. It's
the persistence. One of my favorite books is Grit by Angela Duckworth. She talks about that. Grit is passion and perseverance, for sustained periods of time. I don't even know that you have to be passionate about it. That's the one thing. I think if you just show up consistently, because I've done things where I wasn't quite passionate about it, but I showed up anyway because the job needed to get done. And we persevered. We got it across the line. And that's what it's all about. Continue to show up even when you don't want to. I think that's why I love 75 Hard. It's an exercise that anyone can do that requires you to show up when you don't want to. that lends itself nicely into, real estate investing and entrepreneurship. You're going to have days that you don't want to do it, but if you do everything based off feel and emotion, you're not going to be successful. You have to have it's discipline. It's the discipline to show up and continue the tactic that is going to get you to your goal. And that's what doing hard things is all about. It's doing the hard thing even when you don't feel like it, because it's the right thing to do. Now, yes, you might need to make some adjustments tactically, maybe, change some things up, but at the end of the day, don't quit. That's really what it's all about. Don't quit.
Never quitting. So I'm thinking about that person where they have role models. They're just trying to figure out draw upon that strength. So how do you think they should go about, like discovering their why or tapping into their vision?
Yeah, that's what is your why? That's a hard question, right? That's not, I think some people find it naturally easier than others. I think that for me personally, it took me a long time to figure out my ultimate why. I think oftentimes some pitfalls is that we fall into our identity based off of our phase of life. For example, as I'm transitioning from the military, I'm not saying I'm having an identity crisis, but as I connect with other veterans, it's very difficult. It's a process because so much of my life I'm defined as Major Tiegs, the soldier, right? And I have a lot of pride with that. I just love that I was part of this organization, but as I give that up, it's scary. So who am I? And what I realized is that I'm more than just the uniform, but if I can connect the dots on what my passions are and what I enjoy doing, then that enlightens me in a bigger way. I am someone that inspires and trains and motivates other people. I did that in the military. I do that in a variety of different capacities. Well, I can do that without having to wear this uniform. So part of my why is that, I'm here to inspire people. I want to inspire others to inspire others, right? To live a better life. And I think it requires a deeper level of thinking. I think journaling is incredibly powerful. And there's getting with a coach or a group of people that are dedicated in that self-exploration and connecting the dots on who you are and what you enjoy and what your passions are will help you find your why. But it's probably a little bit deeper. I recall working with, my coaching practice, parents, especially like mothers that have been, my children are my why. I'll do everything for my kids. My whole life revolves around my kids. And then the kids go off to college. And it's like, well, who am I? I'm lost, right? It's because so much of their why and their identity was wrapped up with being a parent. Being a parent is an incredibly important role, but it's not everything who you are. In the grand scheme of your life, it's actually just it's a significant chunk of period, but it's not everything.
It's really not much. My husband and I have been talking about that. We're like, this really isn't that long of a time.
Because by quick.
Once they're teenagers, they start living their own life and doing their own thing. And it's like, whoa, okay, our time's up.
But I think personally, to find your why, it sounds kind of simple. What I recommend and what I help people do is through questioning and just getting some time to yourself to reflect, and with a journal and asking the questions and doing the deep seated. I think some people can find it quicker than others, but going through that process of self-exploration. And there's a couple of different methodologies. We've got like the high performance curriculum. I've got one specifically. Have you ever heard of the book As a Man Thinketh?
I have heard of it. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, that is another incredibly powerful book. I've got like a study guide that kind of walks you through that because it's a short read, but it's like very impactful, like who are you as a person type of thing. So doing exercises like that, there's self-authoring by Jordan Peterson. He's got a program called self-authoring. I've got a lot of insight from that. I think that's where I have found my why, by doing that level of deep work with a coach and going through these various different programs. Has helped me find my why. And I use methodologies for that to help other people find their why and their purpose. Start with why. Cool. Simon Sinek, another great resource, another great book.
And I highly recommend the audio version of that book versus the book
Yeah.
version. I'm very particular between audio and regular. I either like one or the other. I very rarely like both. And by the way, I have Man's Search for Meaning in my house right now because it's on my reading list. Because you recommended it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time we talked, I'm like, I have to read this book.
It's a tough read, but I couldn't put it down. Most people will have a hard time putting it down as soon as they pick it up. It's pretty gripping.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like it. So I'm excited, but I know I'll probably have to be in a proper mental state to really process and get the maximum value from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately to find your why, you got to slow the pace of life down. You got to go find yourself and reflect. And it's easier when you have a coach or a group that are kind of on the same path and you're just focused, right? And you can get detached from your day-to-day world, right? And you're not going to find it in one sitting usually.
Yeah, it's usually not. Well, what's interesting is that our why expands just like we expand, and our why doesn't necessarily change, but it has its own personality, and it's almost like a child that's growing. And so, it's not just a stagnant, immovable object. It is something that as you grow and transform, you have new depth of insight into your why, into your vision, into your purpose. And I'd actually say why and vision are separate items. But I know for me working, I knew what my why was. I was frustrated as all get out because I couldn't figure out how to activate my why. And I was so frustrated. I'm like, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I didn't know the how, which is really reversed. Most people are not in that boat, but working with Faisal, in high performance coaching and reading, I just started reading voraciously. Now I just read constantly and listening to books and podcasts and everything, because it just allows that acceleration process to take place. But that allowed me to see the how I can actually take the why, my vision, the vision was all like crystal clear. I'm just like, I don't know how to make this happen.
Yeah. I'm going to point out on that topic of reading a lot. I find myself, I'm in a space now where I feel like I've read a lot and I'm still reading, but I've slowed the pace down and I'm going back now and rereading books, because what I have learned, I think of people that like Warren Buffett and other people that are really like and I can't remember who said it. There's been a couple people that have said it, but slowing down once you're well read and you've stumbled across a few different methodologies. Now you need to slow down and pick one and just stick with it. Stick with the one methodology that resonates with you. Like, financial planning, there's a lot of different methodologies to achieve wealth, right? But if you're overextended and you're trying to do it all, you're not going to be as successful if you just slow it down a little bit. Same with your nutrition, right? There's so many different programs out there, and a lot of people bounce and dabble from one to one, but they're never quite satisfied or not getting the look that they want. But if they just slow down, just focused on the one, they could probably get better results. And we live in a society where there's just so much distraction and so much abundance, which is a blessing, but it's also a curse. So as soon as we get bored or it gets really difficult, we tend to stop and go to gravitate to something else and start that process over again. And we get stuck in that cycle and we never quite make it all the way through to where we need to get to the other side. But people that are incredibly successful in whatever they're doing, they've been able to push through and get to the other side of that. So,
yeah, well, there's power. Yeah. I always underline in books and write in the margins. It's my way of interacting and engaging with the author. It's my conversation with the author, basically. But it also allows you to, I'll go back and I can see what stood out to me and reference it. And I'm reading a book right now that it's like, I want to go back and I just need to journal or reference and just steep in some of the content there. It's because there isn't a value in reading if you're just reading to read. The value is in internalizing it, contemplating it, and seeing if there's a treasure in there for all of life.
Yeah. As I mentioned that one earlier, the As a Man Thinketh, it's a very short book, but it's like you just read a paragraph or two and that's it. You just ponder on that because it's every word that he chose and every sentence is so profound. and it's written in like old English. So it's like, you really have to sit and think about it, but it's so good. Like it's really, really good. So I think slowing the pace down, and I'm at that point where I'm quality over quantity, right? And rereading some things that really stood out to me is kind of where I'm at in my personal growth journey.
I absolutely love that. That's really cool. Well, what else should we tell, the conscious investor?
Well, I think that I love the entrepreneurial spirit, and I think that that's one of the reasons that I work with the Lions Guide, is to help business owners and leaders. Our country needs people out there getting after it in the business space and creating abundance and wealth, and that, because that trickle down effect serves other people. I think that entrepreneurship and leaders are readers. And I think that your personal growth and development is fundamentally, it's just so crucial to your success that you've got to make, despite how chaotic it gets in your life, you've got to make space and time for your personal growth and development, and just to continue to push yourself. H.A.R.D actually has a mnemonic and a meaning. It's the 4 walls of your house. It's the 4 lines of effort in your life. It's your health and wellness. You've got to maintain your health and wellness so you can sustain the energy level to do all the things that you need to do and live a balanced life. It's your affluence of wealth. We're here talking about investing because we have a vision of a financial freedom. Well, that financial freedom gives you the freedom to come and go as you please, and gives you options and opportunities and to be able to make better decisions. It's your relationships, your significant other, your kids, your family, your friends. We need deep, meaningful relationships in our life to be happy. And it's ultimately your development in your career. Your development, how are you sharpening your saw? One of my favorite quotes is by Abraham Lincoln: give me 6 hours to sharpen a saw, or give me 6 hours to cut down a tree. I'm going to spend 4 of those sharpening the saw. And so how are you developing and growing? What skills are you developing? So those are the 4 lines of effort. Do hard things. Make sure that you're constantly in tune with those so you don't get out of balance.
Gosh, I love it. That's so awesome, Jay. Well, we unfortunately have to wrap up. I know that you and I could talk on forever, but what is the best way for people to connect up with you?
Best way, you can go to jtiegs.com, or you can go to dohardthingsnation.com. Those are probably the 2 easiest way, and you can get in contact with me. And if there's any way that I can serve and help, I'd love to connect. So
awesome. And you're sitting in there. I was going to say, you have a Facebook group, don't you?
I do. I got the Do Hard Things Nation is my Facebook group for that endeavor. We've also got the Lions Guide that might be more pretty appropriate for your audience as well. I'm one of the 3 coaches over there, and we're doing a lot of great stuff there. And I'm on basically every social media platform. So connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I'd love to have great conversations with people. So.
You do, and you're a great conversationalist and insightful, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for letting me be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we were able to work this out. I know that, scheduling is always complicated, in life. So I'm so happy it works out.
Yeah, likewise. We're both pretty busy people, but we made it happen. So
that's right. That's right. Conscious investor, thank you so much. Make sure you go to dohardthingsnation.com. I have that right, correct?
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Okay. I was like, dohardthingsnation.com. And make sure that you connect up with Jay on all the social platforms. Make sure you connect up with his podcast. You're already listening to a podcast. And if you're over on YouTube, you go to check out, you have it on YouTube, right?
Yeah, just Jay Tiegs. I got a pretty unique name. So
yeah. So just check it out. Whatever platform you're on, make sure you double down, like, subscribe, just show love over to, Jay's platform. And remember that you can do hard things. And if you need that support, you now have another reference. You have Jay. And you know what? We have a whole coaching community that can support you in taking that first, next, whatever step it is. We're here to help you make that step. Until next time, live big, love bigger, and go do great things. And in this case, maybe go do hard things.
Absolutely. Do hard things.
What's the big deal about investing in apartments? Why is it better than investing in a slew of single-family homes? I've compiled a lot of information on why investing in a multifamily, also known as apartments, will help you reach your investment goals. Head over to 3keysinvestments.com and download the Why Invest in Multifamily guide today.